Welcome everyone. Today I'm going to be covering one of the biggest mistakes made when conducting a usability test and how you can avoid it. So this actually has a lot to do with priming a user that is being tested. Now, if you want to know a bit more about priming and what it is, I do have another video in the description. Otherwise, let's get started with an example. So over here, we have a mock-up fake usability test that I've created. On the right-hand side, we have our design, and on the left-hand side, we have our scenario and task. I purposefully worded the scenario in a bad way just to illustrate how priming can have a negative impact on your usability test. So the statement here is made up of two parts. The first part is you have selected a few items you want to buy. That's setting the context. The second part is the actual task. Now, can you find the checkout button to finalize this purchase? So there's a few things wrong with this statement, and let's go over them one at a time. So the first problem with the statement is that we're using language that's in the design. So here we're saying checkout, and in the design, we've got a checkout button here as well. So what's happening is we're actually spelling out the word for the user. So we're priming them to look for a particular word rather than go through the design and problem solve. So this is quite a common problem in usability tests, and it's very hard to keep in mind that you shouldn't be using the terminology that's listed on your designs. The second part is the use of a button. So now we're even calling out the element that the user should be looking for. Again, this is going to cue the user to look for a button called checkout. So there's two problems right here. Major problems, you will not get a clear result. The user's going to be a bit skewed when they're rating how easy this was to use. They're going to say it's super easy because I found the checkout button. So instead of actually finding out if they could problem solve, you're now finding out if they could recognize a button called checkout. Now, the last problem with this statement is the entire phrasing. So here we have, now can you find the checkout button to finalize this purchase? So what we're saying is, in order to finalize this purchase, you need to do X, which is find the checkout button. So we're actually telling the user how to complete this process. This is something we really want to avoid. You don't want to prescribe how to complete a flow to the user. You want them to figure it out on their own. And if they can't figure it out, they can just tell you, I have no idea. And they would have failed that usability test, giving you insight that something needs to be changed in your design. So how do we go about changing this particular statement? So we could do something like this. You have already selected a few items you want to buy. How would you finalize this purchase? So we're purposefully being really vague here. We're not specifying that you have to do a certain action to complete the flow. We're just asking them, how would you go about completing this task? We're not specifying a particular element on the page that you need to look at, and we're also not using the terminology that's inside this design. One last thing I want to quickly go over when running a usability test is that you don't want to be overtly nice to the person. You want to maintain a passive relationship throughout the test. Sometimes being too friendly with the participant can create some sort of relationship where they feel like they have to reciprocate those positive feelings by giving you a positive score, giving you positive feedback, as well as trying a bit too hard to complete the tasks. This is something you want to avoid because you want the most honest feedback in order to improve your design. So remember, try not to speak too much during the usability test. This will actually help you avoid establishing a friendly relationship, as well as avoid giving out potential cues to the user being tested. Thanks everyone for watching my video. I hope it's been really helpful. Again, if you want to know a bit more about priming and positive impacts of priming, I do have another video. It's in the description. Check it out. Don't forget to hit the like and subscribe buttons. Thank you very much.